to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a tier list on all of the books I've read so far in 2024. I have a reading goal of, I believe, 25 books on Goodreads, and so far I've read 20, which is awesome. That's 20 more than I read last year. I wanted to do this because I thought it would be a good idea to see kind of how I'm ranking everything now that I've read, and then at the end of the year, when I do my tier list again, see if like my top faves are still my top faves, or if like something dropped or whatever. You know, I thought it'd be cool to be able to compare the two, so that is what we're doing today. Looking at the tiers, we have 4. Starting at the bottom, this is going to be the least favorite. We're starting with Brother Ooh. These are the books that I honestly didn't really like. This is not even considering DNFs. I didn't even consider DNFs in here. Not that I had too many, but these are just books that I managed to get through, but I didn't like them. I didn't like them. Right above that is Just Fine. These are books that I finished, and they were just fine, you know? Didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was just fine. Next is What's Up, What's Up, What's Up. These are books I really did like, but they're not my absolute favorites. Top tier is You Are Me and I Am You. These are books that essentially are now part of my personality. They are part of me. I'm never going to shut up about them. They are a part of my being at this point. So those are the top of the top of the top. Okay, let's get right into it. Starting with number 1 is going to be The Cruel Prince, the first book in the Folk of the Air series. I recently finished this whole trilogy, probably back, I think it was last month in May. I really liked Cruel Prince. I loved the politics of it. I loved that the romance really wasn't a thing. I loved Jude. But it didn't change me personally. I think I can't put it in You Are Me, I Am You, because it didn't have as much of an impact on me as The Wicked King. So I'm gonna put it in What's Up, What's Up, What's Up, just for that reason. It didn't have a huge impact. Now, The Wicked King, on the other hand, she's going right up to You Are Me, I Am You. That book, that is the star of the entire trilogy. There is nothing compared to The Wicked King right now that I can even, nothing can compare to it right now. In that ranking, in that You Are Me, I Am You, that one is number 1. She is sitting probably at my favorite book of all of 2024 right now. She's the best out of all 3. I don't care what people say. She's the best. Love and Other Words. Ooh. Okay, I read this after many years of one of my best friends. After many years of her literally begging me to read this book. I didn't even read it. I had to listen to an audiobook, even though I have the physical. I liked it. I just, for some reason, I found myself not in the majority of people who really love this book. So for that reason, I'm going to put it in Just Fine. I think it was the pacing. And I think the main character, Macy, I ended up just not liking her a lot by the end of the book. I really didn't. But it's not a bad book. It's an okay book. It's just fine. Back to The Folk of the Air, The Queen of Nothing. Now, out of the entire trilogy, this is my least favorite. I think that the pacing was just not the same. It was too quick. I loved The Wicked King and Cruel Prince because they had good pacing. This pacing was too quick. I feel like this book probably needed to be 50 more pages for it to kind of just finish fleshing out some things, and it didn't leave as much of an impact on me as The Wicked King did. So it was good, but I also don't think it was better than the first installment, The Cruel Prince. So for that reason, I am going to put it in Just Fine. But if we're talking about the whole series as a collective, she's going in You Are Me and I Am You. The Lost Sisters. This is a audiobook. Yeah, it's a very short audiobook novella from the Cruel Prince trilogy from Taryn's point of view. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I think it did a really good job at adding more to Taryn's perspective in the first book, because when I then went into The Wicked King, I felt like I was confused about Taryn again, even though I thought I kind of understood her after The Lost Sister. Her actions in The Wicked King threw me off all over again. So for that, I'm gonna put it in Just Fine. You can literally not listen to that audiobook and still enjoy everything about the trilogy. It doesn't really add anything. Any support I had for Taryn going into Wicked King after listening to that was gone by the end of Wicked King. And then by the Queen of Nothing, I just didn't have that many feelings for Taryn as a whole. So we'll just put her in just fine. Didn't hate it, but it didn't really add anything. Ninth House. Now I am reading Hellbent right now, but Ninth House I read back in February. It was one of the first books I've read now that I'm getting back into reading again after being out of it for so long. I remember really liking it. I did really like the concepts, and I really liked Darlington and Alex's characters, but the pacing was slow, and after I finished it, it didn't leave me like yearning to read the next book. Now June, and I'm just now reading the next book, which I love the second book, but it didn't leave me like dying for it, anything like that. But I also feel like it wasn't just fine, because if it was just fine, I would not be reading the second book. I did give it a 4 stars, so I feel like if I gave it a 4 stars, I kind of have to put it with the Cruel Prince. We're gonna go with what's up, just because I really can't put it with the Lost Sisters. I can't put it with the Lost Sisters, and I can't put it with Love in Other Words, because I did enjoy Ninth House more than those two. It's gonna go there. Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This was actually my first audiobook of this year and my first introduction to Japanese literature and fiction. I read this one, or I listened to this one, because a lot of people talk about this online on TikTok. They say it makes them cry. It was, super emotional. It was also really short, and that's kind of what drew me to it. I can't do super long audiobooks. I remember really, really loving it when I finished it. I rated it 5 stars. I think it's still a 5-star. But ever since I finished it, I have not thought about it once. I have not thought about it once at all. To the point where I'm wondering if I should knock it down. If I should knock my rating down, because normally my 5 stars are books I really, really love. And this one, while I did love it in the moment, I apparently have no connection to it past that brief fleeting moment. But it's good. I really did like it. I'm gonna put it in what's up, just because I still think it's something I recommend to people, and I did really like it. I just can't put it in You Are Me and I Am You. Yeah, I just can't put it up there. Alright, A Court of Mist and Fury. I actually started this in December of 2023, but didn't finish it until January. This book took me so long to read. I don't know what happened, but I got halfway through and I did lose steam. There was just something in A Court of Mist and Fury that prevented me, roadblocked me from wanting to keep reading it. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite. Out of I consider the first 3 a trilogy. So out of the first 3, it's not my favorite. Ooh, I feel people yelling at me already. I feel people yelling at me depending on how this goes. Okay, I think I am going to put it in just fine. I'm going to put it in just fine because it was good. I liked it. I think the romance between Farah and Reese was beautiful, but I don't think it did anything for me. And because I'm putting this in just fine, I'm realizing I really should be putting Before the Coffee Gets Cold in just fine. So we are going to move it to there because I can't. This is not higher than A Court of Mist and Fury. So we're gonna put her in the just fine category. I'm sorry, I'm really an indecisive person. I am the wrong person to be doing a tier list, but okay. The Unhoneymooners. I actually listened to this also in audiobook, and I listened to this before Love in Other Words because I needed something just really light and funny. I remember liking it. I remember giving it a 3 stars, but I cannot tell you any of the characters' names for whatever reason. I can't even tell you main points of the story. I can't even tell you. Because I just don't, it was that forgettable. So I think I am going to put this in the brother ugh column just because, not that I hated it, but I can't tell you one single thing about it. I can't remember one single thing about it. And for that reason, I'm going to put it here. I can't remember at least everything else that, the books that happened in Just Fine, I remember those things, but not the Unhoneymooners. So she's going to be the first one in the brother ugh column. I think the brother ugh column is now gonna encompass also books I've just forgotten about. If I can't recall something about a book, that should not be a Just Fine book. That means that book really wasn't that great. Actually, it really wasn't that great. How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories. I read this one last week, and read is loosely because it is a lot of pictures. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think it's a nice little just follow-up after reading the trilogy and learning more about Cardan, and I thought it was really cute. I'm going to put it in just fine. It didn't really do anything for me besides that, but I did enjoy it. A Court of Wings and Ruin. Now this one is going on what's up, okay? She is what's up. I really, really enjoyed that one out of the first trilogy of the acowar series. I haven't read the next two, obviously, but that one I really, really, really enjoyed. It, in my mind, did everything A Court of Mist and Fury should have done, pacing-wise, description-wise, like character building-wise. It was a fat book. It was super long, but I found myself really, really wanting to read more of it, and it was very hard for me to put down. So I am going to put that in what's up. It was really one of my top reads this year. So she's up there. Alright, Blood Over Brighthaven. I actually got this as an ARC. I have not posted the review on Goodreads or anything yet because I'm not allowed to post a review from the publisher. But I am going to rank it. And I'm going to put this with You Are Me and I Am You. Only because that book made me cry and it put me in a reading slump. Not because it was so bad, but because the ending had such an impact on me. I can't put it in any other category. I was thinking about that book for like a week after I had already finished it. I actually had pre-ordered the physical before getting the ARC. I'm so excited to have the physical, and like that's a book I would reread again once I get my physical copy. So that one's going up there. I'm not going to talk too much about it because again, gotta be quiet. It's not coming out till October, but that is definitely up there with The Wicked King and another potential like top favorite out of 2024 so far. 7 Year Slip, I listened to as an audiobook because everyone's been talking about it, or everyone was talking about it, and I'm not a huge romance reader, so I don't tend to get romance books as physical copies. I tend to listen to them audio-wise. And I wasn't sure, I was like, this is a what's up moment, okay? She ended up so good, the 7 Year Slip. I loved Clementine. That's her name, right? Forget what I said about forgetting character's name. That is her name. Sorry, it's because he calls her Lemon. Now I'm like, if that's not her name, I'm sorry. Either way, she still belongs in that category, okay? She was really, really good. I loved the story. I loved the romance, how the whole time traveling aspect in the hotel, or not the hotel, in the apartment. That was honestly really, really, really well done. And Ashley's writing is so beautiful. The way she discussed grief was so beautiful. I really, really, really loved it so much that I want to have a physical copy just to have it on my bookshelf. That is gonna go in that category. Fourth Wing is the book I read this year. I read it right after A Court of Mist and Fury. That book really got me going back into reading. I read it in a week and then immediately followed up with Iron Flame. And I was skeptical about Iron Flame, but we'll get to that when we rank her. I have a guilty pleasure with Fourth Wing because Fourth Wing is definitely not like amazing literature, but I just can't put it in the just fine category because I still do think about Violet and Zayden. I do think about them. There is something in Fourth Wing that just like scratches a certain part of my brain. It's the Tumblr part of my brain that I had turned off for so many years. It just scratches that part of it. It has to go in the what's up category. Like, I know, okay? It's not an amazing fantasy world. It's not anything super different, okay? It's just a lot of things from other fantasy books blended into one. The writing's a little cringe, but she is beautiful to me, okay? She's beautiful to me, and I'm gonna stand on that hill. Two Twisted Crowns is the sequel to One Dark Window. I love this duology together. I really do. I love it. They're both probably up there with The Cruel Prince, but Two Twisted Crowns for me wasn't like super amazing in comparison to One Dark Window. A lot of people say this is their preferred one because of Elm, and while I loved Elm in this book, I feel like it just didn't do what One Dark Window did for me. I got so lost in One Dark Window, like in the story with the nightmare and Raven and everything going on with Elspeth. Like, I got so lost in it, but I didn't have that same feeling necessarily with Two Twisted Crowns. For that reason, she's gonna go in just fine, but I did love her. This one didn't have as much of an impact for me as One Dark Window. Babel. if you've seen my reading blog, you know how I feel about Babel. Babel, unfortunately, I had really high hopes for because I was reading it right after I finished Blood Over Brighthaven, which is also kind of dark academia-esque, similar discussion points. They talk about the same kind of issues with colonization and exploitation. So I was like, oh, if I really loved Blood Over Brighthaven, like, I should really love Babel. Wrong. I did not love Babel. I kind of wish I didn't read it. It put me in a reading slump. It really did. It put me in a, like, I don't even want to read a book. Like, I'm so disappointed in Babel. Like, I didn't want to read anything. So for that reason, she's going in the Brotherhood column, which is really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I had such high hopes, but it just didn't hit for me. One Dark Window. One Dark Window is going in the what's up column. She's going right up there. I'm not going to say she's up there with Wicked King. Like, Wicked King and Blood Over Brighthaven really did take over my life for the time that I read them, and I still think about the Wicked King consistently. So, One Dark Window, I don't think about it as consistently, but I do love those duologies, so she's going to go right up here with Fourth Wing and the other books I really did and do love from this year, but nothing can top Wicked King and Blood Over Brighthaven, to be honest. And if I'm going to choose between Wicked King and Blood Over Brighthaven, you know it's Wicked King. Iron Flame, I'm going to put in just fine. I don't remember a lot from Iron Flame. I remember Violet complaining a lot, and I remember being very shocked about the ending, like, so much so that I do have the third book on pre-order. Again, it's a guilty pleasure, but it didn't hit like Fourth Wing hit, so she's just going to go in the just fine. I know she has a purpose. I know there's, like, some lore building going on in that book, but she was just fine. The Gods Forbid was an arc I received from an indie author. I did read it back in April, and I read it pretty quick. It's actually it's a shorter read. It's not super long, and it was just fine. You know, I think it's a really unique kind of world, the concept of these mythical gods, as they're kind of like not more human, but they kind of take on like a human lifestyle, right? I think it was very interesting, and I think the love story was cute. It's a very simple love story, very cute, you know, it hit its marks, and I think it was good. And so for that reason, it was just fine. Ooh, Powerless. Okay, Powerless is a book I have honestly a toxic relationship with because I think I rated it like 3.5, and I didn't enjoy the writing too much. I kind of wanted to DNF it after a certain point, but pushed through. Yet I did pre-order the second book, and I am going to be reading Powerful in the next week to prepare for Reckless coming out. I don't know what it is. There's something about the book. I have so much hope, I think, what it is for the author and this story. Like, there's so much I can see that is good or can be good. We just gotta execute it a little bit better. She is gonna go in the just fine. I can see why people really love this book. It just didn't hit too much for me, but I did finish it. I did like the story. I like kind of where it's going. We just need to kind of like get more of the storytelling aspects into it before I can be like, oh yeah, this is good. This is going up there with Fourth Wing. So that is my tier list. Again, Wicked King, she is sitting at number 1 right now out of the whole year, I think. She is my favorite book out of the entire year so far. There's something, Holly Black, whatever you did in The Wicked King, thank you. I appreciate it. I love it. I'm super excited to read The Prisoner's Throne and The Stolen Heir at some point this year. It was just so wonderfully done. Like, Carden is amazing. Jude is amazing. The whole world of Elfhame, amazing. I love it. Blood Over Brighthaven, also amazing. I'm excited to get my physical copy, and I'm really excited to read The Sword of Kagan at some point this year, which is also written by Emil Wong, the author. Unfortunately, the biggest disappointment so far out of the whole year is Babel. I feel like I'm just digging myself in a grave every time I, like, just crap on Babel. I'm digging myself in a hypothetical grave because so many people love it, but that is the biggest disappointment of this year, unfortunately. So we're gonna see where everything, like, the chips fall. We're gonna see where the chips fall by the end of the year and see where it ends up. If something actually knocks out The Wicked King, I'm gonna be very shocked. And if something knocks out Babel from being the bottom, again, I'll also be very shocked. I know there's a lot of books coming out this year that I have high expectations for, and we're just gonna have to see how it goes. So, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching, please stick around, and I hope to hear from you guys very soon. Bye.